What's your, if I get caught there's no explanation, story? I was in a camp shower, stalls, not open, when an unaccompanied kid about 4 years old started crawling into my stall from below the door. I was telling him to scram, but he wasn't listening. It was only us in the showers at the time. I had no idea where his folks were. I scrambled to put my clothes on, still soaking wet, when it was clear this kid was bent on getting into my stall. I rinsed the soap out of my hair with my clothes on and then took the kid by the hand to find his parents. Had I been caught in the shower with a stranger's child, I'd have had a very difficult time explaining it. I found his mom, frantic, about 5 minutes later. I guess the kid was looking for his dad, who he heard was in the showers, and he thought I was him. Flew on a major airline with a razor blade hidden in my phone case. I was meaning to buy one to peel the window tint off of my car, but I found one at work in a drawer. I didn't have any way to safely carry it, so I put it in my phone case behind my phone. I about died when I was on the beach and realized what I had done. Threw it in the trash right away before I forgot again. Backstory. I once had such bad depression functioning as a person became hard. My mom stopped by, no knock like several of my close PPL then, brought groceries so I could try and eat better, surprise I don't want to cook. So I was hungry for a while. But she got me mangoes. Now I love mangoes, but only at the correct ripeness, so it's hit or miss. I sat down on the couch with one, so sure it would be bad. It was so good. It was the first thing I had been happy, surprised about in what seemed like forever. No way I could have explained. I ripped into that mango in the middle of my living room. And I mean ripped. I'm talking juice going all down my hands, down my face, huge bites. IDKY, but at one point I crouched down and my cat was just sitting under me licking my hands as I ate. I must have looked savage, and I am so happy no one walked in to check on me right then. That was a super low point and it woke me up a bit. But maybe that was just the mango. Edit. I honestly didn't think anyone would read this. Thank you for the awards, kind stranger. I have never gotten one before. And thank you everyone for your support and mango love. I got razor burn on the back of my thigh. I have horrible eyesight, so in order to see where the burns are I have to bring my face physically closer to the back of my thigh. Cut over to me, foot up behind my head as I rub lotion on the back of my thigh, sitting in my office chair watching Lilo and Stitch. My notes app that includes argument defenses in scenarios I made up. Stealing a truck and driving it home because the owner had agreed to sell it to me, but he was out of town and wanted me to move it before it got towed, but he had the keys and paperwork. It was a short drive, but nervous as hell in a very small cop-saturated town in a hot wired truck. There was an explanation, but it still felt sketchy. Bringing my writing crop to school. Oh, it was epic teenage stupidity. Girl invited me over to a small house party. I was the only guy, score. And there was drinking, new to me. So we all got hammered. Then someone came up with the idea of strip football. All I know is, I'm drunk as hell. All I got left on are my boxers. At least one of them girls was in full underwear. One was actually topless but jeans on. We were all fucking living it up in the backyard when her parents came home unexpectedly, and I literally ran, grabbed my jeans that had my wallet in it and just ran for my life from there. Sacrificing my shoes and other clothes in the name of stupidity. Going outside in full winter gear bundled up to my eyes in the middle of a hot summer night because I saw my dog sniffing something on the ground and was worried it was a dead animal and wanted to check, but I have OCD and am fixated on bats and an intense fear of being bitten by a bat, so I covered every inch of myself in padded clothing. Wouldn't be surprised if the neighbors saw me. I used to graffiti, Kilroy was here, along with the titular Kilroy face, on school walls. I just liked the historical reference. I was caught. I was asked why I did it, and if Kilroy was my last name. It's not. I had no explanation. I was a weird kid. I printed out erotic literature and hid it. I took it to the bathroom to read, and my mom wanted to know what was taking me so long. I ended up ripping it up into tiny pieces over the next 10 minutes and flushing it. I had a SUV filled with ducks and a couple chickens in a graveyard around midnight. Me and the other guy happened to have knives on us, but that was not related. Got busted by the cops, who threatened to charge us for stealing city property for taking the fowl from a nearby park, but they let us go. We had been waiting there while an accomplice infiltrated the girls' dorm. The plan was to release them into the dorm. When visiting a friend, went straight in, to the wrong house, in their building people keep their doors open. Make myself a cup of tea, put on the TV, and wait on the sofa for them to return. Someone else comes in, says nothing, looks at me weird, and goes to the bedroom. Call up my friend to ask when they are coming. They are at their house. They come and pick me up. When I was 14, I went with my grandmother, 2 of my aunts, and my cousin to Georgia. My cousin and I got our own room, and at nights we would sneak out and go to the pool, hot tub, go get snacks and sit in the lobby, etc. Oftentimes we wouldn't even get back until 1 or 1:30 a.m., and somehow never woke any of the adults in the room over. Anyway, one night we were out really late, like 2 a.m., and in the rush of trying to get back to the room, we forgot the room key on the lounge chair. It was an indoor pool, so you only needed a room key to get in, but not leave, and we didn't realize we had forgotten it until we got back up to the room and couldn't get in. Anyway, my cousin ended up falling asleep in the hallway, and I went back down to try to figure out a way to get into the pool to get the room key back. By some miracle, there was some guy who was in the 24/7 fitness center working out at 2:30 a.m., and after I knocked on the door and explained my situation, he helped me get into the pool area so I could get my key back, and I was able to go back to the room, carry my cousin to bed, and go to bed myself without being caught. If any of the adults had found my cousin sleeping on the floor outside the room, I don't even know how I would have explained myself. This woman I used to babysit for got picked up for drug trafficking. Must have been a big hit, because I'm visiting a friend next door to her place one day, and cops are hauling out pretty much everything she owns. Now, I liked babysitting for this woman. She paid me a truckload of money, and had all the best SNES games, Kirby's Superstar, Super Metroid, Chrono Trigger. And I'm watching these cops carry stuff out, and one has all her Super Nintendo games shoved in paper bag. I very nearly blurted out, "Hey, those are mine. I left them here while babysitting." I wanted to, but I realized I had nothing to back that up, and they would know I was basically trying to steal those games in a heartbeat. So I didn't do it, because there would have been no explanation, except maybe a shrug, "Come on, man, Chrono Trigger," and the hope one of those cops was as big a gamer as I was. Me and my friend stole a construction sign and ran down the street with it. One of those big OL orange reflective ones. You know, the ones they design so you can see them easily. Yeah, one of those. Removing the cream from every single Oreo in the box and combining them to make one Mega Supreme Oreo to rule them all. Taking nudes at the lake. Probably over 10 years ago. On holiday in Majorca, me and my brother met some kids round our age to hang out with. We all got on. One night we didn't know what to do, so we got chairs from the bar, lobby and pool area and piled them into an elevator. My brother and one kid piled in, and the rest of us ran up the floors, trying to find them. We didn't get caught, but the security were rather confused to find the chairs. It was definitely a highlight. This feels like a confessional. I stole a bottle of holy water out of the shipping box in the storage room at church when I was an altar girl. Sophomore year of high school, I showed up with nothing in my backpack but whipped cream, weed and handcuffs 3 days in a row. If those had happened to be random locker inspection days, I don't know what I would have said. I was with friends at a local park late at night, like 2 or 3 a.m. Park's close at 11, and a cop doing his drive-through check of the park found me and my 2 friends sitting in a picnic area, and we definitely were not supposed to be there. We had all gotten stoned and hatched a ridiculous plan to mess with our other friend. The cop approached us while we were laughing hysterically with a huge bag of potatoes in front of us while we drew sexually charged images on the potatoes with Sharpie markers. It was rough trying to explain to him that the penis potatoes were supposed to be a practical joke. We were going to leave them all over our friend's lawn. Somehow he was fine with that and told us to take our potatoes and go somewhere other than the park. I still remember that night fondly. I was a weird kid. Around 4th or 5th grade, most of the kids I hung around with were obsessed with talking about sex and drugs. It was a small town, so they were doing drugs, but talking about sex was just kids making shit up because it was popular. I didn't know this though. I listened to my friends talk about using condoms all the time, so I decided to get one so I can start being cool and wearing condoms and having sex. I talked my grandfather into going to Denny's, very easy as that is where all the old people in town hung out. The reason being that this Denny's was shady as fuck, like a trucker stop gas station, and they sold condoms in the bathroom vending machine among other things. Buying one of them was the most nervous thing I did as a kid. Now when I got home, I really didn't know what to do with it. I still hadn't really hit puberty or anything, so I put it on. Now all my friends talked about how it barely fit them, as most kids would, but I couldn't understand what the hell was happening. So as a ceremony to my supposed introduction into the sex fast lane, I went outside, dug a hole and stuck my dick in the ground with the condom. I was trying to make it ritualistic as my first sexual experience. Now I wonder what the hell people would have thought if they saw me there. Whenever I'm home alone, I just start yelling random shit and going batshit crazy. The one time I did end up getting caught was when my parents got home from vacation to see me passed out on the couch in nothing but my underwear and a 1-gallon tub of ice cream on my head, watching Step Brothers. Worst part was, they walked in during the bathroom scene. If you've seen the movie, you'll know. Brought a kitchen knife to Disney hidden in the liner of my backpack. Had previously put it in there to cut up fruit, and it somehow ended up getting stuck between the inner and outer layers of the bag. I never noticed until I was literally in the bag check line at Disney. Panicked for a while, but no one noticed it. I can't quite remember the details, but I recall stealing a smart car with about 10 to 12 other dudes at a party. We, simply, picked it up and carried it to my buddy's garage. The next morning me and my buddy felt remorseful and told his neighbor. Luckily nothing was no damage, just a few greasy handprints. When I was a senior in high school, I was at the river park in town backing up to leave and managed to back right into the ditch I didn't see behind me and got stuck. Of course a cop had to be driving by at that same time and stopped. At the time I had about 5 ice chests in the bed of my truck. Stealing ice chests full of beer was an easy way to get drunk when I was a kid. Well, this cop walks up and sees this and asks what I have inside. Well, I didn't have beer in any. What I did have was a bunch of cow manure I'd been collecting in one for a school prank I had been planning. The cop asked what I had inside. I said, "You probably don't want to know." He of course said to tell him, so I said cow shit. He didn't believe me, so I opened it up and showed him. I never did provide an explanation, but let's just say he let me go. Listening to Never Gonna Give You Up intentionally. I didn't get caught, but I was nervous the whole time. I have an autistic son who cannot speak. One time at a supermarket he broke away from my handhold, ran and climbed into one of those open freezers and lay down on some frozen dog rolls and began rubbing himself. There is no particular explanation for that I'm aware of. It wasn't hot or anything. The other day I Snapchatted my dog shitting directly into the pooper scooper as I was holding it under her butt. SSO glad my neighbors didn't see that. Anything about Among Us. When I was 13 I used to go out to the woods behind the neighborhood, get naked, and light gasoline on fire. Went on vacation with my then boyfriend and a group of friends. They booked a hotel room for us. Turned out it was a room in a long trailer with separate bedrooms, a shared bathroom and one tiny office area, an unbelievably shitty place overall. We sat on a bench outside and proceeded to get drunk, not expecting anyone would mind looking at how shady the place was. I mean, it was so shady most of my friends ended up leaving to sleep someplace else. Anyway, shortly after someone from the office showed up and started a huge fight, telling us we're lowlifes and we should get lost. Then they left. I found that infuriating, and I was also getting drunk on Metaxa that night, which for whatever reason always makes me go batshit insane. Long story short, a couple hours later when everyone else was asleep and the staff was long gone, my boyfriend found me by the desk in the office area where I somehow managed to climb through the window, meticulously drawing dicks on every page of their logbook. He stood outside begging me to leave, but I just sat there completely focused, Refusing to leave until all of their documents are covered in dicks. Smelling my dog's feet. I'm attempting to write a novel, and I'm a firm believer in research. The amount of criminal activity, murder-related searches in my search history right now along with general knowledge picked up from podcasts would be quite questionable. I was a strange child and I decided that I would hide in my neighbor's bush in a ghillie suit in the pouring rain. I just watched a couple of cars drive by and marveled at the fact that the bush kept most of the rain off my head. This reminds me of that old Reddit, TIFU, post about the guy who was having dinner at his wife's boss's house and was served very rare beef. Instead of saying he didn't like his meat rare, he waited until the boss went to get something from the kitchen and chucked the steak out an open window so he could pretend he ate it. Only the window wasn't actually open, just very, very clean. So the steak slapped against it and fell on the floor and his wife and the boss noticed.
https://www.reddit.com/r/tfu/comments/3i'm341/tfu__ 3 NLCFR 4 Teo 5 Benchuffen BVL 2 Uthbiao. I was getting ready for a New Year's Eve party and decided I needed to shave, but I didn't have any aftershave or shaving cream, so I used a little bit of watered-down vodka just to make sure everything was fresh. But I sort of gave off a vodka smell. Then I realized I needed to pick up drinks for the party, so I went to the liquor store, but I got kind of lost in a neighborhood because there were a lot of one-way streets and I kept repeatedly passing a police car hanging out at a corner. I realized how suspicious I would look driving around on Nye smelling like vodka on my way to the liquor store. Luckily everything went fine and me and my friends partied in my basement and then Ubered to a bar. My boss left his office door open one time. I was working late that night and went into his laptop to see if he had anything juicy. He did. He had a document with a title something like, "What is wrong with 99 username?" It included a handy list of my character flaws. If I had gotten caught, there would have been absolutely no excuse. When I was a teenager, my buddy lived in one of those gated communities with security patrol cars at night. We loved sneaking around at night and hiding from them, ding-dong ditching and shit like that. Once we found one of those cars empty, so my ballsy friend went and opened it, and stole a radar gun. And there really wasn't a reason, just for the lulz. I think he still has it. We didn't get caught though. Thanks for watching. See you later.